They warned, repeatedly, prophets, military analysts, former intelligence agents, they all warned that this moment would come. But we didn't listen. Or worse, we listened, but chose to ignore it. And now, it's all happening right before our eyes. The Middle East is in flames, Israel is under siege, and the world watches as if it were just another conflict. But it isn't. There's something much bigger behind this. Something that has been quietly building for decades, and now, finally, has been unleashed. We are facing a watershed moment in modern history, and most people still don't understand it. For years, warnings were issued about Iran's advance in its nuclear program, about the underground agreements between powers hostile to Israel, about the strategy of cornering Israel from all sides. Few heeded them. And now, with actual attacks taking place, with threats of all-out war coming from all sides, with world leaders reacting with inflammatory statements, the pieces on the board are moving toward what many consider a prophetic scenario. What seemed improbable has become inevitable. The recent targeted bombings of Iranian nuclear facilities were just the beginning. Iranian retaliation has already begun, but experts say the real counterattack is yet to come. Pro-Iran militias are positioning themselves, the Houthis are arming themselves in the south, and Hezbollah in the north already has thousands of missiles pointed directly at Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Meanwhile, American troops are approaching, bases are on high alert, and the climate of war is palpable. But what few understand is that this isn't just about territory or politics. We're talking about a spiritual battle, an ideological war involving faith, prophecy, and the fate of entire nations. Israel is surrounded, literally. Syria to the north, Lebanon with Hezbollah, Yemen with the Houthis, Iraq with Shiite militias, Iran with its growing military power, and a silent alliance with powers like Russia and China. It's an unprecedented siege. And while the world feigns surprise, those who study the scriptures and follow the scenes already knew this moment would come. Daniel wrote of wars and rumors of wars. Ezekiel spoke of an attack led by a northern coalition. Revelation warned of a time when nations would rise up against Israel, driven by a spirit of global deception. Are we living in those times now? Many believe so, especially when we see that events no longer follow diplomatic logic. Actions are swift, direct, and strategic. The United States, now under more aggressive leadership, has stated that it will strike again if Iran insists on continuing its nuclear program. And Iran, in turn, has declared that it will never give in. This impasse is leading the world toward an inevitable confrontation, and those who will suffer most from this are the people. Thousands have already lost their homes, their families, their lives. But the stakes are even higher. Imagine for a moment that this war escalates to a regional level, that Israel must face simultaneous attacks from the north, south, and east, that the US fully enters the conflict, that countries like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, or even Egypt are forced to take a stand, that the conflict reaches the Mediterranean, affecting trade routes, supply chains, and global stability. Can you visualize the impact? What if all of this is actually part of something even bigger? A global plan, a reorganization of world power, a preparation for the rise of a leadership that will emerge as a response to the chaos. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's the historical pattern. Whenever the world plunges into war, a new savior appears. Someone with definitive solutions, with promises of peace, but with hidden intentions. And the Bible tells us about this, about the emergence of a charismatic but deceitful world leader, someone who will bring a false peace to Israel, someone who will be applauded by all, but who, in the end, will bring destruction. That's why we need to be vigilant. This is not the time to rely solely on what the media says. It's time to observe, to question, to seek discernment. The signs are everywhere. Earthquakes, financial collapses, columns of smoke over entire cities, leaders in conflict, broken alliances, and rising hatred against Israel. All of this is more than coincidence. It's the fulfillment of a plan that was revealed millennia ago. If you've watched this video this far, you probably sense something is wrong, that there's unrest in the air, that things won't go back to normal. And you're right. This is one of those moments in history that defines generations, and your role in it is crucial. You can be just a bystander, or you can be someone who warns, who shares the truth, who takes a stand, because the war we see on the news is just the tip of the iceberg. The real battle is spiritual. Now, I want to know your thoughts on all this. If you feel we're facing a prophetic war, leave a comment below. Something prophesied. If you believe people are being misled by the media, write, the deception has already begun. And if you simply want more people to wake up to what's going on, share this video with someone who needs to see it. While many still believe that events in the Middle East are just another chapter in the long-standing regional dispute between Israel and its neighbors, something much deeper is being plotted behind the scenes. This isn't just about conventional warfare or who controls what territory. We're dealing with a meticulously planned escalation that blends military strategy, media manipulation, technological advances, and above all, ancient prophecies that seem to come to life before our eyes. Each explosion, each threat, each secret meeting between leaders is not an isolated event. They are pieces of a much larger puzzle, decades in the making. Have you ever stopped to think, why now? Why so many simultaneous conflicts? Why does the world seem to revolve around what's happening in Israel? There's something about this small piece of land that goes far beyond its geographic size. Israel is the spiritual and prophetic epicenter of the planet, and everything that happens there reverberates like an invisible wave that affects politics, economics, and religion around the world. When missiles fall on Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, it's not just a military attack, it's a signal, a code, a warning to those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. In recent days, satellite imagery has revealed strange movements around Israel's borders. It's not just conventional troops organizing, it's electronic warfare systems, long-range drones, airspace jamming signals, and highly sophisticated cyber attacks. The kind of operations that require support from outside powers. The kind of war that is waged silently, away from the cameras, but with devastating impact. Unofficial sources report that while the world focuses on visible bombings, attacks are being carried out from cyberspace, blocking defense systems, spying on sensitive facilities, and even manipulating social media to control the narrative. Have you ever noticed how certain news stories gain prominence while others are buried? This isn't random. And the most curious thing, while Israel defends itself with all its might, a parallel movement is taking place within it. Rabbis, religious leaders, and scholars have begun meeting more frequently. They have spoken openly about the time of the Messiah, the return of ancient signs, the emergence of a new temple, and the arrival of a time of judgment. This is no ordinary discourse. It is something that is stirring the imagination and faith of millions of people. Could we be witnessing the beginning of a convergence between the physical and the spiritual? What's more, while there's so much talk about Iran and Hezbollah, few pay attention to a silent and extremely dangerous actor, China. Yes, it has positioned itself as a mediator, as neutral, but intelligence reports indicate that logistical, technological, and even weapons support is coming directly from the east to fuel the anti-Israel resistance. Radar systems, missile technology, military AI. We are facing a new form of hybrid warfare, where whoever controls the information, data, and algorithms can win without firing a single shot. This should worry you. Along with this, we observe the movements of the financial markets. Whenever tensions spike in Israel, the whole World feels it. Oil prices soar, gold prices appreciate, cryptocurrencies fluctuate. Large banks quietly withdraw capital from certain regions and invest in others. It's as if the global elite already knew what was about to happen, as if they had already planned where the money would go before the bombs even fell. And do you know what this tells us? That there is a script, a plan, and that we, ordinary citizens, are only seeing the visible tip of this iceberg. Meanwhile, in the spiritual realm, signs continue to appear, columns of smoke, red moons, unexplained sounds in the sky, movements on the Mount of Olives, and even reports of unusual atmospheric phenomena in the Jerusalem area. All of this is being documented by civilians but ignored by the mainstream media. Why? What are they trying to hide? Why so much silence about events that, in other times, would have made global headlines? Some scholars have pointed out that we are on the verge of the activation of a series of prophecies related to global wars, great spiritual deceptions, and the revelation of a figure who will bring temporary peace to the world. A charismatic, seductive figure who will offer solutions to the current chaos, but who will bring with him an unprecedented system of control. For many, the stage is already set. Chaos has already taken hold. All that's missing is someone to step into the center and offer the solution. And when that happens, it will be too late to realize that this figure will not bring liberation, but slavery. He will not bring light, but deception. What if all of this is connected to the transformation of Jerusalem into a center of spiritual and political power? There are proposals being discussed behind the scenes to transform the city into a global spiritual capital. Some groups speak openly about the need for a moral world government based in Jerusalem that would unify the three great religions. Sounds like theory, because there are already interfaith events taking place along these lines, global summits, the signing of moral peace pacts, and initiatives to unify principles among Christians, Jews, and Muslims. But at what cost? Now stop and think. We're seeing Iran attacked, Israel threatened, leaders exalted, nuclear weapons at stake, artificial intelligence used on the battlefield, media manipulation, and at the same time, spiritual manifestations, prophecies fulfilled, and the formation of a new global discourse of unity and peace. It's too much of a coincidence for it not to be all connected. This isn't just a war, it's a transformation of the era. It's the birth of a new system, and perhaps the beginning of a countdown. You who have come this far, do you feel that restlessness? That certainty that something much bigger is happening? So tell us in the comments, the beginning of the end. If you feel the truth is being covered up and needs to be exposed, write, the truth will be revealed. And if all this has impacted you, share this video with someone who's still asleep to the signs. The time for observing from afar is over. Now is the time to be alert, to be vigilant, and to take a stand. The next video on the screen delves even deeper into aspects few dare discuss. Watch now. Something inside you will change after hearing what we have to reveal.